3 haunted forests you've never heard of. The phenomenon of being spirited away or disappeared by ghosts spans millennia and cultures. In this video, we're going to explore 3 such forests from around the world that are notorious for snatching people up, and there's a chance you've never heard of some or all of these. As for the last one, well, you'll want to stick around to find out. Let's beam in. Number 1. Yawata no Yabushirazu. This forbidden forest in the city of Ichikawa dates back to the Edo period and has long been an enigma. At a mere 17 square meters in size, you can't imagine that anyone could actually get lost inside this little forest. However, the forest is walled off, and a shrine and gate at the entrance warns that if you do enter, you will never come back out, being spirited away from the living world. Legendary kitsune are believed to roam around inside of the small forest. There are many other yokai who inhabit it as well, including those who have been spirited away themselves. The name Yawata no Yabushirazu has morphed into something loosely meaning to get lost or a labyrinthine place. What makes this even more bizarre is that there are no reports of anyone going into the forest and making it back out alive, despite how tiny it is. There's a legend of a samurai named Mito Komon who said he went into the forest only to be confronted with endless yokai, confusing him and preventing him from finding the exit. Suddenly, a white-haired, regal-looking person appeared before him, telling him that the forest was no place for humans. In the blink of an eye, he was outside of the forest again. Number 2. The evil forests of Nigeria. The lore surrounding these forests tells that these are places of negative energy, a plethora of spirits, possible places of and other religious burial sites, places of witchcraft, etc. The forests are called bad bush by the locals due to their intimidating reputation. From within the evil forests have come some of the most shocking instances to make local and international headlines, including the notorious Ibadan warehouse. Near the city of Ibadan lies an evil forest where the locals refused to go until they heard rumors of an abandoned warehouse within that held horrors beyond imagination. Upon hearing cries for help coming from the forest, locals formed a search team and found the bodies of more than 20 people in various states of decomposition, some in heaps in the nearby unfinished buildings. 10 more people were found alive but shackled to slabs, waiting to be killed themselves. In 2004, in Okija, Nigeria, the Bad Bush, or Ajofia, was the chosen spot for a ritual in which at least 100 people were murdered as part of a ritual to honor gods. Some of the people involved claimed the gods themselves were the one to kill all of the people, but there were apparently around 30 people who were detained in relation to the crimes. 80 bodies were found, along with 20 skulls in total, lying in open coffins surrounding a shrine in the forest. Number 3. The mountain that swallows people. Hidden within Zimbabwe's beautiful Nyanga National Park, Mount Nyangani stands at 8,500 feet and is an imposing figure to locals. Mount Nyangani is the highest mountain in the country and a sacred mountain that houses native spirits, many of which can be angered very easily and are vindictive, according to the local tribes. If you plan to hike the mountain or the areas around it, locals suggest that you first ask for permission from the area's elders and receive their blessings. You'll also want to refrain from wearing red, using profanity, or engaging in any type of sexual activity or urinating on the mountain, as these things anger the gods and spirits residing there. If you see colorful or strange snakes, or animals behaving oddly as if they are watching you, ignore them. If the trees speak to you and you speak back or acknowledge them in any way, you're a goner. And if you don't follow these and many other rules while hiking the many mountain paths, you'll surely get lost, disappeared by the spirits until they feel you or your relatives have repented appropriately for your behavior. There have been many strange occurrences recorded on the mountain, from disappearances to eerie accidents and falls, even cases of predatory stalking and electrical equipment malfunctioning. People have reported seeing strange lights while walking, while others have said that a thick fog seemed to manifest and follow them around. Some visitors said that the trees eventually began to contort and twist into the images of human faces that would whisper things to them, or that animals would follow them around as if watching them, some with glowing eyes. Most recall being disoriented or confused at some point. Numerous people have actually become lost on the mountain. In 1981, 2 young daughters of a former government official disappeared without a trace on Mount Yongani. There was an extensive search both on the ground and in the air, but despite their efforts, nothing was ever found of the 2 girls, their clothing or other property, or anything else. There were several more unexplained disappearances in the area in the 80s that many local tribe members believed to be the work of the spirits of the mountain. On January 4, 2014, 31-year-old Zaid Dada set off on a hike with his wife and another couple. After much hiking, Dada's wife and the couple got too tired to keep going, so they started to head back and left Dada to continue on with his hike. Though they were only separated for a short time, Dada never returned to the rest of the group, and so the group notified authorities. A search was conducted, but Zaid Dada was never found. Apparently, after he had separated from the group, he was spotted in passing by some other hikers while walking along a stream. After that, his whereabouts are, and remain, unknown. The authorities who investigated the case speculated that he could have gotten lost and slipped from a cliff edge to an accidental demise, but no remains have ever been found to corroborate this theory or any other. In April of 2020, 2 8-year-old twin boys from the Nyanga area went on a trip to the mountain with their father and their 7-year-old cousin to recover stray cattle. After a strong storm ended up hitting the mountain unexpectedly, the small family was forced to spend the night on the mountain. As with other cases, search parties were dispatched. This time, however, they would get lucky. All 4 of them were found unconscious and rushed to the hospital. Unfortunately, both twins ended up very shortly afterwards. Their father and their cousin would fortunately survive the ordeal. At the time the source article was written for this news story, the police had yet to speak with the 2 survivors to ask for specifics, so we'll never know what really happened unless they come forward again to tell their story and we can access it. In the early 1980s, a senior government official and 2 buddies were off on the mountain for an adventure when they got lost for 4 days. Of course, authorities, family, and friends searched the area during that time, but they weren't found until local tribe leaders made appeasements to the spirits in rituals. The group recalled that they thought the ordeal only lasted a few hours, and that they had seen people searching and calling out for them, but it was as if they were invisible and couldn't be seen or heard in return. They reported feeling dazed and wandered around without really knowing where they were going or how to get back. Chimidza is a limbo or in-between state of being, almost a state of suspension that the spirits hold those that anger them in until they are appeased. This trance-like state has been reported by other almost spirited survivors as well. 20-year-old British University student Thomas Gayford had just won an award called the Wallace Watson Award Lectures, which provides an opportunity for a student or group of students to experience a challenging outdoor survival adventure anywhere in the world. Thomas ended up hiking on Mount Yongani in November of 2014 with the intent and determination to summit alone. In the early evening hours, Thomas said a thick fog descended around him, which disoriented him enough that he decided to pitch a tent and wait out the odd fog in fear that he would become lost. Soon, a thunderous rainstorm swept through the area, forcing Thomas to shelter in place overnight. During the night, he recalls that he had strange feelings and noticed animals watching him from the darkness surrounding his camping area. Fortunately, he remembered to ignore the animals and other strange things so that he wouldn't be disappeared by the spirits of the mountain. He said of his account, "I prayed and slept there for 10 hours. Several scary snakes approached me. I never disturbed them. They came in numbers, but I stood still. Various animals frequented the place, and I could see shining red eyes of several animals staring at me. My character was tested. I remained steadfast. I woke up the following morning after the fog had cleared. I climbed down before I proceeded to Leopard Rock on foot." Luckily, Thomas would make it out of this ordeal alive and able-minded enough to recall the strange events that occurred that almost got him lost. Perhaps he would have been taken by the spirits of the mountain for breaking some mysterious, unknown rule. Who knows? If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing for more content like this. Remember, trust no one, question everything.